Hey, welcome back to another episode of the weekly recap on It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your co-host, the Balanced Blue, joined by my fellow co-host and champion mates, Scott, the very happy, flying top of the table Gooner, and Rob, the loyal, deflated Red Devil. Robbie, I'll go to you first, my man. My commiserations. How you holding up?
I'm good, mate. I'm down, but I'm not out as usual, mate. I'm a bit proud of the boys. You know, we went down to the table toppers at the moment. We've had one apiece in IFT Derby this year, so I'm not too down, mate. I'm ready for the next one.
In the words of Sir Elton John, you're still standing. Rob, Scott,
Yeah.
you're looking fine, mate. You're smiling, you're happy. We've just had another stream before the show and you're buzzing.
Mate, look, I don't know where to go. One thing that this match this morning taught me is that when Manchester United lose, the internet is a much better place. It's so much more enjoyable on Twitter, Facebook, everything, Instagram, when they're humble. When they're humble. I'm curious to see if there's some particular Manchester United fans, one in particular who I'm wondering if he'll join us in the live chat tonight. I didn't get any cigar videos today, none of that. All I got was that beautiful sound of silence. And Arsenal I didn't need a cigar because my team, they smoked Manchester United this morning, man.
Oh, jeez, he's going hard, mate. Don't worry. So write my receipts down. I'll write them down.
My boy's here. He's here.
He's here.
Credit,
Absolutely.
man. Credit.
There's some humbling, some bumbling, and some mumbling. There's a lot going on, boys. The weekend was huge. Obviously, you had Manchester United going down last gasp to Arsenal, which we just touched on. Man City, Haaland, the history maker and breaker. The Blues and Reds battled out in a stalemate, so to speak, and a really crunch clash in the bottom end of the table where David Moyes' hammers gave poor old Frankie Lampard his toffees a bit of a hammering. So, look, a lot of crazy results across the board, but let's not muck around, boys, and let's dive right into it. Scotty?
Yeah, let's kick off with your match, mate, because that was the chronologically the earliest. High stakes of both teams. Both really wanted that win. But unfortunately, for the spectators anyway, treated to a 0-0 draw. Not the most exciting of scorelines, but shed a bit of light on the match, RJ.
Yeah, no, and we said it in the title, it was a stalemate because the name says it all. It was a mid-table clash between two old rivals who are not used to being in that position. But as I said with Grizz a couple of days before, obviously a big Liverpool presence. The quality of the two teams is lacking. The confidence is lacking. And you actually saw that play out. I thought Chelsea were the better team, unsurprisingly being biased here. But overall, statistically speaking, we looked the more likely. But the problems of old in terms of our inability to convert on the periods of dominance really came to fruition. And I suppose for me, a couple of key call-outs that I would highlight from that match. Firstly, Liverpool not scoring at home, I was quite surprised by. Yes, they've been in poor form. Yes, they're missing a couple of players. But a 0-0 draw at Anfield is something that I'm taking close to me and accepting and walking away. But our players individually, I thought defensively, Badia Shield, again, second game, clean sheet along Thiago Silva. That's a nice little partnership that's brewing. The midfield battle, that was quite interesting because a lot of understated characters there. One player that continues to divide the Chelsea community, I guess you could think who I'm talking about. And, of course, the new boy, Mudryk. His highlights, mate, there was a little bit of Hazard there. There was a little bit of Mo Salah in terms of the pace. First game, 30-odd minutes in, plenty of signs of optimism. So I'm happy that Mikhail Mudryk, he gave me lost a smile about it. I'm keen to see what him and Felix can do along with our new boy, Madueke. So, yeah, mate, overall disappointed with the result because I expected a win. But 0-0 again against Liverpool, something not to frown about.
All right, let's move on to the next match. Newcastle, 0-0 with Palace. For me, from an FPL perspective, I've been running two Newcastle defenders for weeks, and it's just been like certified 12 points locked in. They'll be disappointed, though, because Palace, despite that result against Manchester United, and let's be real, it was lucky. It was a lucky result against United. They haven't been in great form. So Newcastle, I think, will be kicking themselves that they couldn't capitalise. They had moments. The defence looked so good, but couldn't find a way to take all 3 points. Robbie, did you catch any of that match?
Seen the highlights. I think you could actually say in the opposite, to be honest, as well. I think Pope came up with one or two massive saves to save them from getting a point themselves. So like I said, Palace off the back of the good result for them against us. I think they were pretty good for it as well at home to Newcastle. So yeah, I think again both ways a bit more drop points, which again at the time I was happy, in the top 4 point of view. But yeah, look, they again a clean sheet. They'll look at the positives, a clean sheet, and another game without a loss. Their streak is, I don't even remember the last time they had an L, to be honest. So they'll continue and bounce on to the next one, I guess.
So let's talk about your cross-city rivals, Robbie, because I'm saving our match for a little bit later. Haaland, he'd been quiet. People had started to whisper. People had started to talk. Not us. We're too clever for that. And then, boom, hat-trick. Here we go again. What do you make of this guy? And do you think we'll see more of the same from Haaland, or do you think we might get another little dip?
Oh, look, firstly, you can never put someone down for scoring a hat-trick. He scored a hat-trick. I think he's on 25 Premier League goals now, and it's halfway through the season, which is an amazing stat.
Mental.
But I don't know if anyone's seen the hat-trick. It was probably the easiest hat-trick he scored of his career. Very easy. One was a tap-in, one was a penalty, one was a good header. So, again, in the best team up against the Wolves, who are, quite at the bottom of the food chain at the moment. But yeah, look, a hat-trick's a hat-trick at the end of the day. He's been quiet post World Cup when everyone thought he was going to be the opposite, completely coming out firing after a rest or a break. But City got the job done. They needed to get this win. They've had a couple shaky weeks. Job done. He's got his hat-trick. I'm sure he's ready for the next one in form.
RJ, just got a question for you in the chat, mate. We'll chuck it to you. How does it feel when a single player has more goals than your whole club?
He's a top player. It's a good little dig, George. I suppose. What can I say, mate? He's a man. He's a man on fire. He's 4th hat trick, fastest player. 19 games in 4 hat tricks. He's only done it, 32 odd games ahead of Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he's already ahead of the Golden Boot for the last 4 years or something like that. The last 4 seasons. So yeah, he's a freak of nature. How does it feel? It feels fantastic. It's almost as fantastic as winning the Champions League, Scott. Let me know how that goes one day, mate. So overall, I'm flying.
To me? It's not
because I know.
Mate,
I know the soul, mate. I know the soul.
Oh, I'm not salty, mate. You're in 10th. You guys aren't even a blip on my radar,
10, mate. We're top half.
I don't think about Chelsea. Stu pointing out Newcastle haven't conceded a goal since about October. Defensively, they've been solid, but they have had a lot of draws. Yeah, absolutely. Look, good defense is paramount, and they've got that sorted. I think the attack will come. I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Newcastle fan. They're flying, and I think they'll keep doing more of the same. All right, Robbie, before we get on to our match, let's keep the humour up. Rumour coming out that Harry Kane is looking at signing a new contract with Spurs. This would be his last major contract. What do you boys make of this? Now, I like loyalty and how often we sit here and say players aren't loyal anymore, contracts don't mean anything. So I kind of feel bad for putting the boot into him for this, but at the same time, I think he's given them adequate loyalty to think he gets something back. Like, he's basically saying, I'm happy not to win a trophy in my career, besides the ones maybe I won at Arsenal as a kid. Robbie, RJ, I'll leave it to you two. Is this a bad move from Kane, or is it nice to see some loyalty?
I think it's a stupid move on his career, to be honest. If he wants to win the gold medal for loyalty, fine, stay there. He's not going to win anything. Conte is 1 foot out the door. Unless he's got like a hint of Poch 2.0, which I still don't think he's going to win trophies. Arsenal's on the up, United's on the up. I'm sure the other ones are going to fight back. Money bags at Chelsea, they're going to try and reboot it and be really quick. City is City. Newcastle is on the up. So, Tottenham have never been allergic to trophies for a long time. And, Daniel Levy's not going to dip into his pocket as much as the rest of the boys. So for me, I think it's madness, man. If he wanted to get out last year so much to go to City, obviously probably would have won a trophy then if he was there instead of a Jack Grealish or something. But now, if we did go in for him, I think you'd be mad for any club, even if it's not in the Premier League. A Real Madrid, a Barca, a Bayern, go and win yourself a league title, because at the end of the day, your World Cup golden boots for one of the best strikers in England, and then he's a world-class striker. To have no league title, I think, is going to be a big dent on his career. Always said
he hasn't even got an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup or
nothing.
Anything. He's got an Audi
golden
Cup.
boot. Golden boots. That's it.
He's hardly going to tell his kids about the Audi Cup he won one day in the future. RJ, is it nice to see some loyalty? Are we being too harsh on Harry Kane? Is this my anti-Spurs bias coming out?
Depends on what you prioritise. But Rob's right. 1 minute he says he wants to leave, now wants to stay. What's changed? What's gotten better for Spurs? Based on their current standings, if anything, it's regressed slightly. So with Conte supposedly at the door, like you said, Rob, I don't know how I reconcile it in my mind. There must be something else behind the scenes that makes him want to stay beyond obviously increasing pay. So look, exactly. So yeah, it's a strange decision, but look, it's not confirmed yet. So let's just wait and see.
Let's talk about both your clubs here. Because George saying he'd take Kane at United for anything under 90 million. Both your clubs, it's no secret you could use a striker. Would you take him? Would you pay 90 million for him, RJ? We know your club don't care. 100% you pay 90 million, right?
Yeah, we just splash cash with no idea. We're buying all these top-notch stars that everybody knows. So obviously that's worked
like
out.
Havertz and Werner.
Exactly, the old crew. So I don't think he fits the new philosophy, to be frank with you. Yeah, top player. Obviously improves most teams he can walk into. That's why United would chase him. But I just don't think it's realistic under what the new model is, because we only make 7.5-year deals to rip off FFP. That's what we do. So, yeah.
Robbie, 90 million, Harry Kane. Surely with Weghorst playing up front, you'd take Kane for that.
Look, Weghorst is going to be here for 6 months to the end of the season. I don't see anything more. It's a stopgap solution, a quick solution. Look, I'm not one of those people that'll say yes or no really on this one. I am sitting on the fence. For me, I think he'll give you 2 or 3 good more years. He's only 30, just turning 31. He has still got a lot in the locker left. He's a proven Premier League striker, and I think you definitely fit the bill at United. Look, it's not that it's my money, and by that time I think we will have new owners, and we'll see what they think for getting their money up. But from standing back and looking at it, I still think 80-90 million is a lot of money. And like I said, I'm 31 years old. It's going to be another kind of short-term, 2-year, 3-year thing if he stays fit. For me, I think I'd rather maybe go for someone, spend the same amount of money on a Oshahim or a Dusan Vavic. So
yeah,
I don't know.
There's always that. I think you're mad, Robbie. To be honest,
no. Look, everyone's going to say it's a
no.
Van Persie vibes. It's a Van Persie vibes kind of thing. Take him out of there. He's going to get 25 goals for the season. We need a Premier League proven striker. And I told you, it crosses the T's, it dots the I's, but I just don't know. If Eric wanted him, go and get him. But I just don't know if it would be something we'd do.
I just think, like some of the names you mentioned, like an Osimhen, there's always that risk of how they'll come in and they'll adapt to the league. Like we've seen plenty of big names come in who are meant to set the league on fire and they haven't. It can also happen Premier League to Premier League, but I just think if you've got someone who's proven like Harry Kane, you'd be nuts not to take him. I'd take him at Arsenal.
Lukaku was proven in the Premier League at West Brom. Yes, you can't say he's one of the youngest ever to hit 100 goals. He played at Everton. He played at West Brom. He still scored goals everywhere he went. He was a Premier League proven striker. He banged them in for Belgium. He's gone to 2 big clubs in Chelsea and United, and it didn't cut the bread. So true. So and we played top dollar. We paid 75. They paid 90 million. So 2 big contracts within a few years, and he was proven definitely. And he's been in the league since, like I said, West Brom. He was very young when he came off the books at Chelsea there.
Yeah, just different profiles, though, I suppose. Like they're comparable in the sense of Premier League proven, but the player profiles are totally different. How often do you see Harry Kane end up playing more of an attacking midfielder role or dropping deep and the one playing the through ball to someone else. So he's not
Like
your stock
Rooney's
standard finisher. He's someone that's more versatile than Lukaku, in my opinion. But yeah, I agree. He's on the wrong side of that age curve. But it depends. If you brought someone in now to help improve the current crop as a bit of a bridge over the next 2-3 seasons, then yeah, I think it's worth it. And then Borch's interesting comment here.
Yeah, they play tomorrow morning, Spurs in London derby at Fulham. Just quickly give us a prediction for that match, Robbie.
I'll go 2-1 Spurs.
I'm going 1-1 in this. I think Fulham will give them problems. Arj?
I'm gonna go bold here, so to speak. 2-1 to Fulham.
Fair enough. George and I, we're in agreement tonight. It's a good night. Something we're not going to be in agreement on is when we talk about this next match, the blockbuster of the round. Happened this morning, 3:30 a.m. Arsenal, Manchester United. Robbie, because I know that, how do I say this? I know I might be triggering to some. I'm going to let you talk first. I'm going to let you get your thoughts and feelings out in the match. I'm going to give mine, and then RJ can give us the middle ground. Talk to me about the match this morning.
Well, yeah, you said it right there, blockbuster, and I think it did fit the bill again. The lead up, the excitement, two teams. You guys are definitely informed. We've been informed. I thought it was a pretty decent game as in the entertainment wise. Obviously, if you're gonna look at it with a fine tooth comb, obviously, there was mistakes on both ends. Obviously, 5-goal thriller. So defending was what it was. 5 goals conceded between the two teams. Look, as I thought last night, I said I really thought Arsenal were going to come out of the blocks and really try and start quick, which you guys did. We held off for 10, 15 minutes, and then I think we started to level up the game. In that period, we got a great goal from Marcus Rashford in transition. And then, like I said, didn't hold on to the lead I think within 5 minutes, you guys hit straight back. Yeah. I think, at that point, we were both screaming at halftime, say blow full time. We'll kind of, shake hands on a draw. We'll both take a draw. And kind of the exact same opposite happened in the second half. I did think you guys were a little bit more beefy in the second half. You guys definitely were a bit more on top of us. In the next minute, Saka with a worldie as well, and then we hit back with our header off a set piece. And then, obviously you guys finished it off late. I have to give plaudits to Saka. I thought he was a menace today. And like I said, it's funny. I think quite a few of those players that we put in that team of the season, but with the combined 11 last night, didn't actually turn up and have a great game. Luke Shaw for me, I thought he was on toast with Shaw. I picked out Odegaard for me as the player to watch. In my opinion, I don't think he had a blockbuster game. I thought he was quite quiet. Okay. Same with Martinelli. I expected a little bit more with him. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka was pretty decent in that battle over there. But it was the same with our, I think Casemiro was a massive loss in our midfield. I think you guys were overall did deserve it. I did predict this, especially at home. I thought you guys were going to go that little bit more for it, especially what's on the line. And, if you look at our two benches, mate, a lot of people complaining about Ten Hag. Why didn't he change it up or game management? I thought the game management, we should have. The situation, we invited a lot of pressure at the end. Every time Saka got the ball, we were backing up and giving him all the space in the world, and obviously punished us. But besides that, I thought it was a pretty decent game, and you guys were the deserving winners in the end.
Yeah, it was exciting, man. And look, you and I were watching, and we were commenting on a lot of these things in real time. Luke Shaw, for me, had a really poor match. I wasn't sure if it was Luke Shaw or Michael Jackson because all he was doing was moonwalking, man. He was just going backwards, walking backwards away from Saka. You cannot give Bukayo Saka that much space. He's too good a player to give that space to. I love the little bit of heat in the match as well, a little bit of fight. I loved Saka copying Rashford's celebration. I think friendly banter between two mates. But, yeah, it was a really entertaining game. Two things, because I've reflected on this match all day. Two things that I think really went wrong for United. One, you've got a 6 foot, what? How tall is Weghorst? 6 foot?
Oh, I'm glad you bring up 6'6". Yeah, that's right.
You've got a 6'6" striker, and I can't register outside of set pieces. I can't register a cross that went into him.
I agree with you. I was screaming at the whole game.
We put more crosses in for Eddie Nketiah than you put in for Weghorst. If you're going to play someone like that, I understand you want him to hold up play. But you've got to give some aerial service as well. Send the ball in. He's taller than both our centre-backs. So that was one thing that I think Ten Hag got wrong, because obviously the tactics come from the gaffer. The other thing that I think was quite negative was taking Anthony off. Now, he didn't have the best match, but taking him off to then put Bruno out wide, it was Bruno that shifted out, wasn't it?
Yeah, because Fred came on, I think, for Anthony.
I thought that was really negative. I mean, the way the game was, it was quite open. Zinchenko, who was brilliant, was still pushing into that middle. I think there was plenty of space that someone with some pace could have exploited, and I just think you missed a chance to punish us down there. That would be my two biggest disappointments from a Manchester United perspective. From our perspective, I have to give some plaudits to Eddie Nketiah. I've been very, very negative about Eddie, and I didn't like him having the 14. I still don't like him having the 14, but he's doing a good job. He's doing a really good job. Came up with 2 goals. Ugly goals still count for the same thing. So, yeah, I was happy. And just to address this comment from Gunner TV, Martinelli does look like he needs a rest, and that's where Trossard comes in. I thought Trossard in his little cameo looked good, and I look forward to being able to rotate Martinelli now because he has looked tired. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing Trossard more involved, and thank you for the sub as well, champion. RJ, let's come to you for a middle ground as I put a couple of comments up, but give us your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, Arsenal started really strongly, and then obviously Rashford continued his little purple patch, scored an absolutely sublime goal, like top class finish. But Saka decided to get one up on him, I thought. And I even liked Martinez's little header goal too. I thought that might be the undoing. Yeah. It was clever. Like, it was instinctive. It was clever. It worked out perfectly. Ramsdale got himself a little bit of a mix-up, I thought. And then your comments about Luke Shaw were quite interesting because the time he did try to engage Saka in a bit more tight, he ended up getting himself a yellow card. So his decision-making and timing was all off as well. Nketiah, man, I've been sort of a little bit tongue-in-cheek with the number 14, but I genuinely feel he's a player that's on the up and isn't getting the same level of praise your Erdegaards and your Sakas and that are getting. You commented on him being lack of being clinical and stuffing up at the most important moment. Today he was your match winner. So on the biggest arena. So that speaks volumes about his development. But yeah, United. Rob, maybe you can share with me because I didn't quite understand. But Tom, I saw from the United Pubcast, put out a comment saying he saw a lot of negativity and debate after the match. Was there a lot of blow-ups? Was there? Like, this wasn't just isolation?
Your typical Twitter reaction on a loss, mate.
No, Twitter's quite stable for the Chelsea team.
Yeah. Like, mate, I think I even seen a few Eric's out today kind of thing, man. Like, it's just, I think the big talking point was Weghorst. His shit, he's not United quality, this and that. We paid $2 million. Like, I even got the shit today a little bit too, like, kind of like, straight away they're like, people like, oh, blame the Glazers. Like, look, we've got what we've got. It's a stopgap thing. We've got a guy in. But again, I think it just goes back to what Scott said today. He's played 2 games. I don't think he's actually been bad in the 2 games. He's had no service. That goes for the Crystal Palace game as well. He's tried to make good runs. He holds the ball up. He's made little touches. I barely seen a couple layouts. That's just what he's going to do for the end of the year. Hopefully Martial comes back in the next 3. I'm hoping Sancho comes back. I do thought we could have maybe at 2-2. I was screaming out for him to come off, put Rashford down the middle, and Garnacho I really thought would have come on a little bit earlier because he likes to run at players, get in the box. He likes to try and draw fouls and stuff like that. So I was surprised that he came on, I think, after we conceded the 3rd goal, which was the 91st minute. You can't expect a miracle from an 18-year-old. But yeah, what else can I say, man? I think between us, we've all wrapped it up. I'm not hurting as much as some people are. Like, we come out of that game, we lost to the team that's on top of the league at the moment. I really am still burning more from the Palace game because that one hurts more after this loss. Obviously in the last 2 games, you look at it, it's 1 point from 6. again, we're lucky with other results that, some of them have gone our way. So we still got a bit of a buffer. And, the title race talk was on for a week, whatever it was. But now, if you go back to round 1 and 2, especially after those 2 bad games, mate, I was, people were scared. I was scared of a relegation or not even getting close to Europe. Our top target this year is top 4. And I really think, top 4 this year is going to be like a trophy for us, and anything else is a bonus.
I saw a lot of people saying Goldbridge was one who was doing this. Title's finished. It's all over. It can't be over in just 2 games. Listen, I know we're sitting we're 5 points clear. 5 points is 2 matches.
That's over City, bro. Like
11 clear of you
11
guys,
clear of us with a game in hand. So just say you did win with your form. That's, 14 points in front. That's a lot to wind back, especially in the form you're in. So, look, it's not over maybe the title race in general. Obviously, City could definitely pull that back considering you guys are going to play twice. But, I got excited last week and I was going to grab it with both hands and we're even in that conversation. And that just shows how far our progression and how quick our progression under Ten Hag has been. And for me, I love him. I think he's doing good. I think he demands professionalism. I think he demands, he wants more and more. Even when we've won, the first thing he always points out is we've got a lot to go. We've got a lot to go. And, you guys have done amazing in the 3 years. Like, we've done it in 6 months. And I think, we're definitely on the up. If we get a few more windows back, I still think we can, still go hard. I would love to get my hands on a trophy, even if it's a small one this year. And top 4, that is a massive, great season for us.
Fair shout. All right, boys, was there anything else from any other fixtures that you wanted to mention before we start wrapping this up? I'm so busted. The 3:30 a.m. games hit me so hard these days. So I've got nothing. I'm happy with the fixtures. But if you boys have something, this is your chance.
Just wanted to highlight West Ham's impressive 2-0 win against Everton. They're struggling at the moment. Both teams still unconvincing. The second goal was actually quite nicely worked with Antonio to Bowen. But it just goes to show you in these pressure situations, one little mistake under that pressure can be amplified so much. And I can see a lot of the panic now between both teams and particularly Everton now. Like, they're under the cosh. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with those teams at the moment. And obviously, go on, Rob.
No, I was going to say, it goes to show how close it is and congested down the bottom there. Like, West Ham were second bottom, and then with that win, they've shot up like 3 or 4 or 5 spots just like on points and goal difference. So it's very congested down there. And, I guess we'll find out the verdict on Lampard within the next 24 hours. Apparently, there's an emergency meeting as we speak, so we'll see.
Yeah, and just to address George's point, I'm glad I willingly brought him up. Can't accuse me for ducking the Frank Lampard subject. So, but I feel for him, of course. But even Wolves are under a lot of pressure too. Like, they're still on struggle street. But Leicester, big point for them against Brighton. That's 2 points dropped as far as I'm concerned from the Seagulls. So that was a big result for me as well.
Fair shout, boys. Look, have we got any quick fires that we've got?
I'll do,
Robbie.
mate. Yeah, I've got one this
Robbie,
week.
well done.
Now, look, I've actually been smashing up some new TV shows and stuff. Obviously, I actually tagged the final finales coming out on Cobra Kai stream. But at the moment, is there something new or something you're watching at the moment? Me personally, when I was young, I was always into the National Treasure movies with Nicolas Cage, and they've actually put a bit of a series out. Mate, I smacked it out, and I think in a day. I got a dig to come away for season 2, but I love that kind of stuff. So that was really good. And a few other new ones are starting, but I'll just put the National Treasure one for me at the moment.
Bro, you two crack me up. You guys, between you and RJ, it's like you rotate that quickfire. You ask that quickfire every week, and I don't watch a lot of TV, so it screws me. I've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Well, I don't watch many shows.
What have you been gaming with mostly then lately?
Exactly.
Now you're talking.
No time, but only time for gaming, of course.
No, now you're talking. It's been all Football Manager, mate. It's been all.
How many hours have you done this year? Because we all know how crazy your hours get.
I'll have to check that, but it's be somewhere about the 450, 500 mark, I reckon.
There you go.
So something mental like that. Don't ask. I'm glad my wife doesn't watch. There you go. My playtime from November 2021 to now has been 1,179 hours.
I like it. Someone put that in days, and I want to know the result.
Okay, no, don't. RJ, you got a quick fire for us?
No, I was trying to work out the maths of the days. It's like 50 odd days or something. But anyway, why that's not important. Nah, no quick fires for me, man. I'm just pumping. Obviously enjoyed the chat with Tom Williams before to talk about the sudden departure of Dwight York from Macarthur Bulls and Milo Stajovski. So if you haven't, check it out. This was a great chat. Tom's a wealth of knowledge on all things Aussie football.
Spot on. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe. I've seen a few new faces in the chat tonight, which is beautiful. We will be back same time next week. So make sure you sub, hit that bell so you don't miss out. We'll wrap it up with my quick fire, boys. If you could only eat 3 things for the rest of your life, we all like our food. You could only eat 3 things for the rest of your life. What would they be? Robbie?
Seafood, pasta.
No. Be more specific, mate.
Oh, okay. Like has to be full. Jeez. Okay. Well, was that to say like what kind of pasta or something, or just pasta?
Well, look, I'll give one of mine is tortellini boscaiola.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll put spaghetti marinara then, so that covers me on the seafood front.
Yep.
I do love my lamb, so I'll just chuck a lamb dish in there, and one more. I'm gonna say fruit salad because I love my fruit salad.
What a waste!
Wow.
What a waste. RJ?
This is the rest of your life, Rob.
Yeah, no, mate. You gotta balance it. You can't just have like meat and stuff.
Hey, I know all about balance. That's part of my name. Nah, I hear you. For me, look, I'd probably say pasta ragu. I love it. I cook it. I live for that stuff. It's got meat, pasta sauce, got all the combo. Probably throw in there a bacon and egg breakfast because I love that stuff, like the big breakfast. So it gives me a bit of a combination. And then also, this is a tricky one, wrapping it up. Robbie, I like your marinara one, man. So I'll probably throw that one as well. Different pasta, of course. Long pasta. Short pasta for the ragu.
Spot on, boys. Look, for me, tortellini boscaiola.
No oysters?
No, absolutely not, mate. My wife loves the fact that I don't eat oysters, that's for sure. I'll go tortellini boscaiola. I'm going to go with Nutella waffles as my breakfast sweet treat. And the last one, just a good chicken palmy with chips, mate. So
I forgot the schnitzel. Forgot it. Oh.
Yeah, you boys, it's so versatile. Make sure as well, half an hour on the Football Capital Borges review drops. I know I'll be tuning in for that. I'm sad I don't have any of his tears in my cup because I'm feeling thirsty for United tears. So make sure you check the Football Capital out. Check the boys out. Plenty of excellent content creators in this chat. We will drop one more video this week. It'll be a video looking at some mid-season report cards. That'll come later in the week, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm an absolute waffle. I like that. But that will be the only other video we drop this week. The boys are working overtime. We've pumped out heaps this week. So one more video this week, then back again Monday, same time next week. Everyone take care. Enjoy your football. Come on, Arsenal.